But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
Damn, that boy is good.
Good and terrible.
What's up, guys? Spenny. We were kind of the cheerleader to get Jimmy Kimmel canned and taken off air for his despicable comments about Charlie Kirk after Kirk's murder. And the reason why we led that charge was because Jimmy Kimmel is a filthy liar. Not only did he lie about who killed Charlie Kirk, saying that it was the MAGA movement that did it, but he also lied when he came back to TV by weeping and crying and blubbering on his knees. He literally sobbed the entire 20-minute monologue. Now, beyond just this being a bad look for you as a man, this is a bad look when you take the totality of what Jimmy Kimmel has said and done on this topic. When Charlie Kirk was first shot, killed, his wife widowed, and his children orphaned without their father, Jimmy Kimmel didn't cry. Jimmy Kimmel had no tears for that. Jimmy Kimmel used that as an opportunity to attack Charlie and his movement. Wouldn't that be the scenario to cry about? Wouldn't you be crying then? Why are you now just crying? Because Jimmy Kimmel's career is at stake, and Jimmy Kimmel's crying for himself. That's what's happening. These tears are not for Charlie Kirk or Erica Kirk or the Kirk family. They're for him. And well, Jimmy Kimmel's career, which was already on the rocks, remains so. And Jimmy Kimmel's ratings have plummeted 70% since returning. Jimmy Kimmel has a absolute and total collapsed show once again. He did have a lot of people tuning in order to see what he's going to say. Obviously, it made quite a stir when Jimmy Kimmel was taken off air. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he's back. But once the little pop fizz of drama fizzled away, then so did the audience. Jimmy Kimmel won for now. ABC reinstated the late night hosts early after a suspension, and affiliates started putting the show back on the air. Station owners are saying that they wanted leverage over ABC, and so on and so forth, but then they could cancel each other. It could be really ugly. So anyway, they're just going to put Jimmy Kimmel back on air. Nobody really watched anyway. This is, however, really a moot point because Jimmy Kimmel's ratings have once again fallen directly into the trash can. Still, Kimmel's long-term future with ABC remains in question. For those wondering if Kimmel could retain his newfound momentum, his ratings suggest no. While Wednesday's average of 2.4 million was ahead of Kimmel's norm of like 1 million, it marked a 70% drop from the record 6 million that showed up to watch his groveling non-apology. CNN media analyst Brian Stelter badly wants Jimmy Kimmel to notice him, touting Kimmel's YouTube numbers this morning, not his television audience. Kimmel's show will almost certainly drop back below 2 million next week. We'll be watching. And that means it's performing well below the mean. Jimmy Kimmel's making around $17 million a year, has a large staff. The show's production in LA is costing a fortune. CBS was losing $40 million a year on Stephen Colbert's show, and it did better. It did better in the ratings than Jimmy Kimmel. So yeah, you can see a nightmare here. Look at this. Look how well Gutfeld does in comparison to all of them. Like you actually have to add all of these three together to get Gutfeld's ratings on an average night. So yeah, whatever goes around comes around. What goes up must come down. Jimmy Kimmel's not happy. His big comeback isn't so big after all. Lost 70% of his viewers. Jimmy and the network thought he'd be a free speech martyr, but actually we all are aware that the only person martyred was Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel was only getting 129,000 viewers in the key demographic. I can post a picture of a cat and get more views than that. Yes. Yes, you can. Jimmy Kimmel was getting 129,000 viewers in the key demo. This is like viewers under the age of 50 years old. That's what the key demo is called. Those are the views that advertisers want so desperately. And he was barely able to crack like what we regularly get for views per video. You know, we do this like dozens of times a day. And we do it with like a dozen people, like total at the whole entire company, right? Doing every single job, everyone doing multiple jobs at the company. How much staff does Jimmy Kimmel have? We have like just this teeny little studio. Like how big is Jimmy Kimmel's studio? How many resources are poured into this? And we probably do 10x Jimmy Kimmel's views per day across platforms. The whole world's upside down, man. I mean, the whole world's upside down, totally broken. Jimmy Kimmel lost 70% of his viewers from 6.4 million to 2.4 million. I expect Kimmel to be back below 2 million on Monday. We'll see. Left-wing media like Variety called Jimmy Kimmel's return one of the most massive television moments of the decade. And his ratings went down 70% in one day. That's pretty embarrassing. Yep. Yeah. It's bad out there. The left can understand why he was fired. It sucks. It has nothing to do with President Trump. What I think is weird about all this is that, you know, the model is clearly there with Greg Gutfeld. Like the model is there with Greg's show. Greg's show, again, does the kind of numbers and does them consistently. Doesn't need like a massive national scandal to get viewers. Does them consistently. And what does he do? Well, he's actually funny. And he jousts and jabs left-wing comedians, left-wing politicians, left-wing culture figures. He gives the audience the exact thing that they're not getting from any of the other shows. I'm not saying never make fun of a Republican. I'm saying, like, could you book a Republican and like humanize them a little bit? And could you make fun of the left? Of course they can't. They won't. But that's not the world that I grew up in. I grew up in a world with like Jay Leno doing exactly that. Kind of roasting both sides, not overtly political, just like cracking a joke here or there. And then Jay Leno would always have on left and right, and that doesn't matter. What's what made him a legend. I think David Letterman would do that, and Johnny Carson certainly did that. And so that's what they've lost. And that's why they're all getting destroyed by Greg Gutfeld. You know who else isn't buying it? Is Charlamagne the God. This is a big-time left-wing podcaster and radio guy, and he says he doesn't like it. He doesn't buy it. Here we go.
I didn't like the tears.
God damn.
You know why I didn't like the tears?
What?
You thought they were fake?
Because he cried when he mentioned Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
He didn't cry 2 weeks ago or a week ago when he got...
I think he was crying that people thought he would celebrate the death of. Yeah. Like, that is what hurt him. Is like, how would you think I'm that kind of guy?
Yeah, that's how...
He should have said that. No, I feel like he should have said it because it felt like he was just trying to do some performative emotion.
If he's that good of a crier on command, he should act.
I mean, he has that. He was acting forever. The Man Show.
The Man Show wasn't acting, dude. I'm talking about Jesus Christ.
It was acting.
No, it wasn't.
The Man Show?
It wasn't acting. That was
you think that's just where he was in his life?
That was a talk show.
That's just where he was in his moment. But no, he used to do sketches and stuff like that. Okay. He pretended to be Karl Malone, for God's sake.
That's true. That was great acting.
Oprah.
He should have got an Emmy for that.
It didn't bother me none. But my point is, I felt like when he was getting emotional, he was doing that to show like the other side. Hey, I do care. You know, and then he did like the apology, not an apology. You thought he said, I'm sorry. That's how the tone sounded.
Yeah, the tone felt apologetic.
But he never said, I'm sorry.